Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to learn about data types. So why do we need data types? So whenever we create a variable, Java needs to know, right, what kind of value it stores. Is it a number, text, or a true or false? And data types tells Java also to how much memory to reserve for that variable and how that data should behave, like what kind of value will be stored in that, and also whether certain operations are allowed or not. Now let's see the categories of the data types. So there are two categories, like I have already mentioned in the previous video. So there are primitive variables, that is which stores primitive data types, and a reference data type. So the variables, which is also classified into two, right? So basically there are two data types here, primitive and reference. So the variables which holds the primitive data type is primitive variables, the same with the reference as well. What is primitive data type? So primitive data type stores actual values. So for example, if we are using age 24, actual 24 will be stored, whereas the reference type stores address of objects. So we will understand this clearly. Okay, so for now remember that primitive stores the actual values, so reference stores the address of the objects. So let's start with actual examples. And I have created a class data types demo. Inside that I have already declared a method, main method, where the execution begins. Now let's see primitive data types. Okay, so these are built-in data types. Integer types, which holds byte, short, int and long. Decimal types, float and double. Character type, that is char, and boolean type, which is boolean. So these 8 are built-in basic low-level types, but most of the time we commonly use int for integer, and so int for integer, and double for decimal, char and boolean. So these are the widely used data types, but in the other exists for a special cases like optimization or memory control. I will explain all this in the further video. So let's consider int. Like in our previous video we already declared, right? It's like integer number, it stores a whole number, is 25, whereas we can write double, we can take it as salary or price of any object which holds a decimal number. For example, some 25,000.50. Okay, so coming to character data type, let's have a grade, can be A. It's a single letter, it's a just single character. Okay, and then boolean, which holds only two values, true or false. So it can be a flag or is active or something, which is true, for example. Okay, now these are familiar already to you now that we have declared the variables of different data types, and each different data type holds a different value, right? Now let's print all this. System.out.println. Okay, and then here let's print age,
and let's copy paste quickly and print salary, grade, and is active.
Right, now let's run this program. So if you see the output, it just prints 25 and 25.05 as its zeros is truncated, and then a character, and it's a boolean true. Okay, right, now let's move to reference data types. So reference data type stores objects, array and string. Okay, so like I have already mentioned, reference data type don't store values directly like primitive data type. They store a reference or a link to an object in the memory. So for example, string, array list, or custom classes all are reference types. So here to give an example, I would say string name equal to John. Okay, I can also declare array. So array is declared like this. In the later videos I'll explain about this. And then array will have a bracket here which says it's array of data, not a single data. Array of numbers I could say, which is equal to, inside brackets, like 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, and we can also say int roll numbers, which is equal 22 23 24 25. You're getting it, right? Now let's print these variables. Reference variable. Okay, now if you run this program, right, if you see the reference, the John is printing because it's a string. I'll tell you why. And the other one is printing the address of the numbers. So here what happens, right, in the memory the numbers will store the numbers variable, right? This numbers will store this address, this one. Okay, this is the address name, and this particular address will have the link to this list of numbers, that is so 1 2 3. I mean it doesn't store like this. I will I will explain all this in the coming up videos, but just remember that this is the address of the first number here, and then it stores all the digits in the array, like 2 3 4 5. Okay, now we don't have to print the actual address, right? We want the values inside this. So this we will again see in further videos. Just remember that reference data type will store the address, and whereas the primitive data types will store the actual value. So in this example, if you see the reference variables, the name is printed as John, not the address, whereas the numbers and roll numbers are printing the address. So if anyone knows, comment down below that why the name is not printing the address but the name itself, the value itself. I will tell you when I explain you about system.out.println in the next coming videos. Before that, if you know, please comment down below. Yeah, okay. Let's see a high level memory concept of how this actually stores. So primitive data type stores directly the value, and the reference stored as address, and then object somewhere else. Okay, we will explore more when we explain stack, heap, garbage collection later. So let's see now these primitive built-in data types, how much data it allocates for each type. Byte stores 1, short 2 bytes, int 4, and long 8 bytes. Float is 4 bytes, and double is 8 bytes. Character 2 bytes, and this one depends on JVM. Okay, so this is just a quick idea about how much space each type usually takes. So don't try to memorize this now. We will come back to this and discuss in the upcoming videos. Okay, before ending the video, let's see the common mistakes we usually do and the interview questions. The first common mistake will be holding a different variable type. So for example, int x, I will hold a decimal number. Okay, so if anyone asks this question, this will throw error. Yes, this will throw error. So integer holds the whole number, not the decimal number. And if you run this application, it says incompatible data types. Okay, so let's see if we declare a boolean flag which is equal to true, Please comment down below if this line throws error or not. If it throws error, let me know why. So boolean is true and it should work, but it throws the error. The reason, again the same, incompatible ties. So this true should not be a string. It is a boolean value. It should be either true or it should be false. Okay, so this is how the flag works. Coming to the next one, so let's take an example of character ch equal to a. Now we have assigned a single character a to character ch, and will this throw an error? Yes, again the same error, that is incompatible types, because again it's a string. So character is a single character and it is defined as something like with single quotes, not with double quotes. Even if you use a single character within double quotes, it just consider that as a string, and you have to give a string data type and not a character data type. Okay, so let's have a quick recap. So today you saw how data types control what can be stored and how much memory is used, and we also saw the common mistakes or errors we do and the interviews or the questions which can be asked. So in the next video we will talk about typecasting in Java, where we can convert one data type to another safely and correctly. Okay, thanks for watching.